Hello, good morning, mommies. My name is Catherine. I'm a preschool teacher and owner of Cocos Montessori School. I'm so excited to start this project with you all. I'm a bit scared, I'm a little bit shy, so do pardon me. I think we'll learn from each other along the way as we progress. Right now, I am in a classroom for the CASA class. That's the ages of 3 to 6. And since school is in session, that's why I can only sneak in to do some recordings and send them to you. Um, um, I know that all your kids are enrolled in different schools, which I presume are taking on different curriculums. But the essence of this is just to cushion parents. Education is the same everywhere, it's just the approach that is different. So with what I am hoping to do is that I'll be bringing in the Montessori infused approach so that you can use it and adopt it into your homes and make learning fun and easier for your preschoolers. So this morning I want us to start a little bit from the boring part, which is normally the theory. I want you to know what Montessori is all about and the reason why some people do use it or believe it. And if you do subscribe to the philosophies and you're interested in using snippets of it to improve your child's education, then I would encourage you to listen to it. So one may ask, what is Montessori education? I mean, Montessori, what is it? Well, Montessori education was started by a woman, Maria Montessori. She was an Italian, and she was born somewhere in 1870, which is quite a long time ago. She was born in an era whereby women weren't ascribed to take on higher heights, but somehow she challenged that status quo. Montessori, or Maria, if I can address it this way, Maria enrolled in a school, she wanted to be an engineer. And then when she was going to the university, she changed her mind and she decided to be a medical doctor. And I'm proud to say that she was the first female medical doctor in Italy. She became a medical doctor and then she was put in charge of this children's psychiatric hospital back then in Rome. So with her careful observation, she realized that the children there were capable of actually finding some structure and some concentration, which improved learning qualities. So she used the hospital as a means of observation, and through that she was able to develop certain equipment or apparatuses or manipulatives that has become known as the Montessori famous materials. What she realized was that children in these mental homes had a way of concentrating when they were given the right material that intrigued them, that made them able to be interested in it and give it the time and then the concentration that they needed. And through that, she realized that certain aspects of their learning phases became structured and that they were picking knowledge from these materials, and actually they were doing it willfully. So there was some success rate at the hospital. She decided to extend that learning approach to other parts of Italy as well, and she was granted the permit to open the first Casa dei Bambini, which normally means children's home in Rome. But in that era, it was the Second World War. Most of the men were at war. The women were forced to tender to the fields or find some economic venture to provide, since the men were not around. So there were lots of children who were left, I wouldn't say abandoned, but roaming around. Here in our times we would say zongo, because the women were mostly not there to keep them at home and to monitor them. So she set up the school in the slums of Rome. So ironically, if you look at it, Montessori schools nowadays are very, very expensive. Yes. But the purpose for Maria Montessori setting up her school was basically the opposite of what it is now. It was for the needy, it was for children everywhere to have access to that. So it is my wish that, Montessori becomes accessible through, compromising materials, or as I say, DIY projects or materials that gives the same efficiency, or that gives the same benefit as a would be already made material that you have to buy. So she set up the school, and then children were doing things, on their own. But the difference between a Montessori school and a normal school is that for us, it's like a home. It's basically an extension of the home. So when you come into a normal Montessori classroom, the first observation is that you see everything is orderly. We have things clearly displayed on shelves so that children have the freedom to choose anything that they want to choose. We have things clearly displayed in beautiful, displays, carefully arranged. We group them in areas. Of course, we'll be tackling that in our further videos. And then we also have the multi-age system, whereby a classroom is seen as a community, because we're saying that the classroom is an extension of the child's real world. So what is a child's real world? The child interacts with both the old and then the young. So when you come into a Montessori classroom, we have multi-age grouping. We have the 1 to 3 years, we have the 3 to 6 years, the 6 to 9, So you realize that children act as peer influences, as peer teachers. They learn from each other. They serve as role models, and it's much easier because they accept information readily from their own peers. So in a Montessori classroom, you wouldn't even find blackboards. You find scribble boards, or maybe scribble patchworks, or art areas, or easels, but we don't do the collective teaching whereby we group children behind tables and chairs, and then there is a blackboard, and then they all have to listen to the teacher. So basically, the teachers in Montessori classrooms act as guides. We are not to teach them what we know, we are to teach the children to be able to find answers, critical answers, or to have that analytical and critical mind, to even find answers to questions that we haven't thought about ourselves. So basically, it is to help the child be a better version of themselves. So this is just a summarized recap of what Montessori is all about. One interesting thing about us too is that we follow the concept of concrete to abstract. When I say concrete to abstract, is that whatever you want to teach a child in a Montessori preschool, you first have to let the child see it, feel it, hear it, taste it, associate some qualities other than you verbally describing the thing. So we have materials for every topic that we teach. And aside that, you have to be creative. So I'm sorry for all the parents who don't know how to draw even a simple cut. You'll be in for a lot of shock once we start, because there's so much that you have to, create, build, draw, paint, just to make topics or subjects interesting for kids, and for them to associate some senses other than the auditory one that you're teaching them, some sense to it, for them to grasp the concept. And then I think that's it about it. I might have forgotten some things. I told you we'll get better along the way. So basically, that is a summary of what Montessori is all about. If you are really interested in what a fun education is all about, whereby children are made to be themselves, whereby children have the freedom. Yes, that's the critical word, freedom. But of course, it's freedom within limits, whereby children are able to progress at their own natural pace, at their own intellectual pace. Then I think this curriculum is something that is for you. So this is going to be the first phase of it. Thank you.